the air. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care.
This is a very important moment in history. Once again, gamers have reshaped how corporate structures are communicating with one another. Ubisoft, as you know, came out earlier this year and admitted, in fact, just a little bit after the delay was announced, that they had hired historians too late in the process. They had noted that it was much later than usual hiring these people. So consider this for a moment, right? Consider that along the way, someone had a neat idea that for whatever reason, a Torii gate was destroyed, and Naue and Yasuke had positioned themselves anime character style on them. I can understand how they arrived at the conclusion of this was being a good idea, if you will. And of course, Eurogamer here, Mr. Tom Phillips, the editor-in-chief, he's not quite brave enough to tackle this head on. He says, well, Pure Art's original design included broken Torii gate. It's found in Nagasaki. He kind of underplays it because what he wants to draw your attention to is the presence of Yasuke and how people are very mad about Yasuke rather than the fact that this was based off of or arguably cannot be separated from the one-legged Torii gate in Nagasaki that corresponds with the bombing during World War II. This is a preserved monument of that event. I believe it's in the same location where its partner, the other side of the gate, fell during the bombing. And so this is one of the most famous symbols of World War II in Japan. And so if they were hiring historians late, they were hiring them last week late, okay? Because this thing got all the way to the pre-order, buy it now, it's coming soon stage before anybody was like, hey, wait, that's the equivalent of taking a cross and snapping it in half and then having somebody sit on top of it. Nobody sat down and processed what this actually meant to anyone. They looked at some TikTok videos and saw some kids crawling around on them probably and decided, oh yeah, that's just one of those weird Japanesey jungle gyms or something. We'll just let people crawl on it, put their butts all over it. It's fine. It's fine. Nobody cares. And that's the problem with this at its core, and reality of what you're dealing with is that, as I alluded to in the song in the beginning here, they don't care. The people at Ubisoft do not care. It is abundantly obvious now that, just take a look at this, okay? Consider that there was the designer, right? Then the sculptor, then the painter, then the mass producer, okay? So these people all together, before you even get the product to the pre-sale stage, that's 5 people. I think I counted that right. That's 5 people that have to take a look at this before you get to management, okay? That's before you get to the sensitivity readers. That's before you get to... There had to be 10 levels before this thing ever got to the public. And somehow throughout all those groups, nobody was like, hey, wait a minute, this is one of those religious symbols in Japan. I see it all the time in those animes. Nobody, I don't know how to speak French, otherwise we're like, hey, wait a minute, like that, but it felt like that was a little too much. But anyway, this is just ridiculous, so much so that the toy maker company decided that they needed to come out and say, we're sorry, we are very sorry for this. And now we're getting this information thanks to Synth Potato. You can follow that fella over at Synth Potato. You're at the right place if you found the potato emoji next to the verified icon. All right. And of course, he sets the stage here. He says, Pure Arts, that's the people who produced this thing. I'm not sure I would call it a statue, but I don't want to call it a monstrosity either, because I don't believe this was malicious. I could be the French, I don't know, but I doubt it. So it says here, Pure Arts and Ubisoft have issued an apology in regards to how controversial the Torii Gate figurine for Assassin's Creed Shadows has become. Due to its depiction of a half-broken Torii Gate, which resembles the one-legged Torii that was destroyed in the Nagasaki atomic bombing, it really feels like Ubisoft can't catch a break recently. There definitely needs to be a more sophisticated consultation process from historians to avoid mess-ups like this from happening in the future. Now, please consider that they were just bragging to us about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, just before the delay was announced, that they had Ubisoft Japan staff helping them put together this game. And now I question, like, are we sure that these are native-born Japanese that were consulting on this? Are we sure that these are people that even lived in Japan? Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. Even managed to live in Japan long enough to be able to absorb the culture of the Torii Gates? I don't know. Like, I only know the information I know because people in the comments section told me to Google this and that and the next thing in order to properly understand what the hell a Torii Gate is. I don't know. I'm on the pretty much I'm 11 hours difference from Tokyo, okay? That's how far away from Japan I am. I'm not just going to bump into somebody on the street in Maine, that's going to tell me like, "Oh, by the way, this is what a Torii Gate is." Like this doesn't happen. It's not, so you have to go find authentic people. Now, again, you could have somebody that's lived in Japan since they were in the Navy, right? They decided to stay after their tour of duty was over, been there for 20 years. I would trust that person to be able to tell me what the ground culture is around Torii Gates. Maybe not somebody who's been there to plunder the culture, make money off of it, and, in Mr. Lockley's case, profit off of a dead black slave. But I digress. Let's get into the apology. It's very simple here. And they said, "We recently released an insensitive design. We appreciate and have learned from the concerns brought to our attention, and we apologize for the harm this caused." After reading and processing the feedback, we have immediately returned to the drawing board and are currently reworking the design of the Qlectors, Assassin's Creed Shadows, O.R.C.A, and Naue. Stay tuned. Yeah, I'm betting they're not going to come back with that. The Torii Gate will probably be replaced with something, maybe like a bridge. They'll do a bridge or something, or some type of small structure, very small thing. They'll make Naue like one of those rampage-size characters sitting on top of a Buddhist temple next. Wouldn't that be funny, huh? That they just decide, okay, so the Torii Gate was kind of out of place, but now instead we're going to go ahead and put Naue sitting on top of a Buddhist temple. Right? What are the multi-layered ones from Nara? Yeah, the Nara Buddhist temples that are like as ancient as it gets, I think, over there. At least the ones that centered power around them. The Nara Buddhist temples. Boy, wouldn't that be funny, huh? That they just decide, okay, so the Torii Gate offended people. Let's just put her on top. Let's have her squatting on top of like doing the Batman squat on top of a Buddhist temple, and they'll put like gargoyles on the side of it too, so it just looks absolutely ridiculous. They can't be bothered to even do a Google search, right? Because Google won't lie to you about what these things are and what they mean to people. It just didn't occur to them. They just saw, oh, hey, that's cool. I see this in a whole bunch of Japanese tourism advertisements, so clearly it's some theme park thing. And that's just what they did. They just didn't bother. They didn't offer any gravity. Now, let's say that they did, though. Let's say that someone in the office was sitting there and thinking, it would be really cool if we were able to, pay homage to Japanese culture, how they've survived all of these terrible things to preserve their culture and keep it so richly, vibrantly represented in their media. And that would be okay if they didn't make the characters into rip-off Funko Pops. I forgot the name right when I needed it. You gotta love that. So here we go. Just rip off Funko Pops. Like I said before in a previous video on this, if Naue and Yasuke were holding hands and had he had his helmet off and she had her hood back and their heads were down, or maybe Yasuke was on one knee and he was praying because, he comes from the Christian background. I don't know if he took that on or not. Nobody knows because there's only like three or four paragraphs about the guy in existence. But anyway, just have him kneeling down and praying, doing a Christian prayer, and you can have Naue tilting her head as well in some type of reverence that feels fitting for the Shintoist religion, perhaps the Buddhist religion as well. I'm not sure how the Buddhists interacted with Shinto. I'm not sure. So you'll have to let me know in the comments on that one. But this is the problem, is that front to back, it's a bad idea. Like, nobody along the way was like, if we're trying to, like, have like an emotional attachment to this broken Torii Gate, why are we putting cartoon characters around it? Why aren't we doing the real deal scale size Yasuke and Naoe to the Torii Gate, the broken Torii Gate, and they are like sad? You could show that Yasuke is like pushing on it to set it back up again. And you can make his hands glow. So it's like, yes, it's a blessed moment that Yasuke is fixing the Torii Gate. And you have Naoe like on the side holding like some wood or something. So it looks like they're trying to rebuild after a disaster. But again, I just point to you, it's broken. She's sitting on top of it. He has his sword drawn. What are we meant to... He has such a dull look on his face too. He's not angry. He's like, I better be getting paid for this. I had better be getting paid to be here. And that's that. I call this housework. Remember that song? Remember that? You let me know in the comments if you know what song I'm talking about. I call this housework because it's light work. You remember that? You remember that? Let me know. Way better thing than what this is. Now I'm all excited about the song, not this statue. But remember, okay, this, on a serious note, as it's juxtaposed right here, these two pictures beside each other. Remember, at the end of the day, they knew what they were doing. All they had to do was Google pictures of a one-legged Torii Gate, of a broken Torii Gate. That's all they had to do. And they would have found this. They would have found the history behind it. I'll let you know that the first pictures of this broken Torii Gate after the bombing were taken by an American POW. That's right. So there's no way around this. They deliberately knew that this existed and knew that it would get somehow tied up with what they were creating because it's the same damn thing, and they thought they could get away with it. You'll have to let me know what you think about this down in the comments below, but as always, guys, good luck out there.